Hello and welcome in the second part of this guide to Rise of Industry. In this video I'll explain how to set up warehouses and trade routes. I'll also teach you when it's best to use both of them. We will begin with this simple production line consisting of two farms and a water siphon. In this case we will not use manual destinations but will place a warehouse instead. All buildings in the warehouses range will automatically change their setting to the auto mode. We can disable that in the gameplay options by turning automated warehouses off. Now, if you place a warehouse nearby a building, it will remain in the manual mode, but we can still change that ourselves. If we open the warehouse panel, we can see all incoming and outgoing products. This means that every building will send produced goods to the warehouse and every building in need for those goods will send trucks to pick up those products. Let's see how this works unpaused. If we want to sell our wheat and not have it stored in the warehouse, we can set the warehouse to send all wheat to the store. This is the faster way, but it isn't cost efficient. It's better to set crop farms to send their products directly to the farmer's market and not to the warehouse. To do that, we open their panels and disable the auto mode, and change their destination to the farmer's market. Keep in mind that it doesn't mean the warehouse will stop providing them with water. If we want to do that, we need to open the warehouse panel and disable delivering water to the crop farms. We can also disable the warehouse from picking up the water from the siphon, or disable the auto mode in the siphons panel, but this will prevent any warehouse from taking in the water. The difference between those options becomes important in multi-warehouse setups. Placing a secondary warehouse will make nearby buildings to change their destination if they are closer to it. To prevent that, we need to switch the automatic target off. Now we can also change the target warehouse. Warehouses are best used in big setups where profits greatly outweigh its upkeep cost. Using warehouses in small setups is very expensive and can even lead to bankruptcy in extreme cases. It's also important to remember that while using warehouses, buildings will take products until they have enough to run next to production cycles. It will take a while until all buildings are fully functional. Trade routes are a good way to move products over large distances. The longer the distance, the more cost efficient it is to use trade routes over destination trucks. They also reduce traffic, but this will become more important in the future. There are 4 types of trade routes in the game: trade trucks, trains, boats and zeppelins. Trade trucks are good for medium range hauling and are rather cheap. Trains are more expensive but better for even longer distances. Boats have high capacity but can only move through water. Zeppelins have medium capacity but can avoid any obstacle. The last 2 are much more expensive, so use them carefully. Every type has to be researched first. You can also unlock higher capacity and speed later. This setup produces chocolate bars, but the byproducts are stored in the warehouse. We want to sell all that, but the closest city is far away. This is perfect time to use the trade route. We'll use trade trucks now, but the trade route creation is the same for each type. Before we can start making a trade route, we first need to place 2 truck depots. One is the starting point and the other is the ending one. Once we place both of them, we need to set farms and factories to send end products to the first one. Our first trade route will transport beef to the nearest city. To create it, we open the trade route panel and click Add Route. We choose the type we want and pick our starting point. By clicking on the plus icon, we can pick the good we want to transport. Every trade route has 4 slots. Each slot represents 1 vehicle. You only pay the initial dispatch cost for 1 truck, but it's better not to fill all the slots with the same product. Constant flow is better than sudden bursts. We now need to add a stop that will be our final destination. Once we do that, we can hit the play button and our trade route is almost complete. All we have to do is to set where we want the second truck depot to send our goods to. We open its panel and choose the destination. We can also rename our trade route and assign more fleets to it. There aren't any downside to this, so if your truck depot is filling up, consider doing it. You can also increase the number of trucks per day at the second truck depot if the output doesn't keep up with the input. Our first trade route is now ready and we can start saving money. We also wanted to sell chocolate and leather, but there isn't any shop on the map that would buy them. In this case, we'll have to sell them to the state, but remember that you shouldn't build production lines where you have to send end products to the state. Unfortunately, the closest road leading to the state is in another region, so we'll have to buy at least a logistic permit. This allows us to build roads, warehouses and depots in this region. We will place a 3rd truck depot close to the border and set up new trade route that will transport both leather and chocolate there. You can also make your trade routes more complex by adding additional stops to it. To do that, simply place another depot and add a new stop in the trade route panel. Green means that the good is picked up from the depot, red means that the good is left there, and black means that the good is kept in the track. If you want to use trains, you'll also have to connect stations with tracks. Both ends have to meet, but you can overlap tracks if you want to save money. Trains will pass through each other, but at a speed penalty, so it's better to use two separate tracks. You can press F8 key to enable bird's eye view, so it's easier to place the tracks. 3- and 4-way junctions are possible, but just like with the roads, all tracks have to be connected. These are some examples of unconnected and connected tracks. They also cannot turn more than 45 degrees, so turns like the one on the left are incorrect. Logistics are arguably the most important thing in the game, and mastering them is crucial if you want to expand your industry. In the next video, I'll talk about simple strategies that you can use to make your first real profits.